Hello friends, this is Ramesh for CA. Okay, now today my agenda to deal a problem of each standard of module 2 of financial reporting. Okay, now first standard India's 36 impairment of assets. Here the problem is on 1st April 2001, Venus Limited acquired 100% of Shorten Limited for 4 lakhs. The fair value of the net identifiable assets of Shorten Limited was 3,20,000 and goodwill was 80,000. Shorten Limited is in coal mining business. On 31st March 2003, 1st April 2001, Venus Limited acquired Shorten Limited 100% holding. On 31st March 2003, after 2 years, the government has cancelled licenses given to it in few states. As a result of Shorten Limited revenue is estimated to get reduced by 30%. The adverse change in marketplace and regulatory conditions is an indicator of impairment. As a result, Venus Limited has to estimate the recoverable amount of goodwill and net assets of Shorten Limited on 31st March 2003. Venus Limited uses straight line depreciation. The useful life of Shorten Limited's assets is estimated to be 20 years with no residual value. No independent cash inflows can be identified to any individual assets. So, the entire operation of Shorten Limited is to be treated as a cash generating unit. Due to the regulatory intangible, it is not possible to determine the selling price of Shorten Limited as a cash generating unit. Its value in use is estimated by the management at 2,12,000. Suppose by 31st March 2005, after 2 years, the government reinstates the license of Shorten Limited. The management expects a favorable change in net cash flows. This is an indicator that an impairment loss may have reversed. The recoverable amount of Shorten Limited's net asset is re-estimated. The value in use is expected to be 3,04,000 and fair value less cost to disposal is expected to be 2,90,000. This is the question. Okay. Here we need to take what is the relevant and not relevant information. Okay. Here on 1st April 2001, Venus Limited acquired Shorten Limited. Venus, in technical terms, Venus Limited is a parent company, that is a holding company. Shorten Limited is a subsidiary company. How much amount he acquired? 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs, that is a investment in Shorten Limited, extent of 4 lakhs. But for extent of 4 lakhs, for investing of 4 lakhs from Shorten Limited, assets, net identifiable assets 3,20,000. Remaining extra amount that can be constituted as a 80,000 goodwill. Okay. Here Shorten Limited is in coal mining business. Okay, license on 31st March 2003, license cancelled by government to the Shorten Limited. So this is one of the indicator. We know indicators, internal indicators, external indicators. Only indicator, only if indicator is there, then only impairment test is required. Otherwise, not required. But in some situations, goodwill mandatorily every year need to be impairment test. Next, for infinite life of intangible asset, for that also impairment test is necessary. That is already we know. Next, due to the cause of cancellation of license, Shorten Limited revenue also reduced. This is one of the indicator also. This is internal indicator. So here in financial reporting, some issues, some problems. There is no specifically given what is the requirement, what is the recoverable amount, what is the impairment loss. Some situations, some problems is not given. So impliedly we need to analyze and give the answer to the question. Okay, right. Now 1st April 2001, but now on 31st March 2003, on at the end of the year, 31st March 2003, short-term limited net identifiable assets here given 3,20,000. So the life also given, life with no residual value. So 3,20,000 for 20 years. Every year we need depreciation charge 16,000 per year. So 2 years is completed. So we are in at the end of 31st March 2003. 2 years is completed. So for 2 years, how much depreciation we need to charge? 32,000. So carrying amount as on 31st March 2003. Total 3,20,000. So 3,20,000 minus depreciation 32,000. So how much amount? 2,88,000. This is the carrying amount. Carrying amount as on 31st March 2003. Next, on 31st March 2003, here no independent cash flows generated by individual assets. So suppose if any individual asset generates independent cash flows, then we can be considered that asset as a cash generating unit. If no individual asset generate any cash flows independently, then we don't consider that is a cash generating unit. But here total group of short-term limited, total group of short-term limited can be considered as a cash generating unit. So here not specifically identified what is the selling price of assets. So here given the amount value in is 2,12,000. We know recoverable amount. How we know? How we find out recoverable amount? Higher of value in use and or fair value less cost to dispose. Higher of both of those two, value in use, fair value less to cost to dispose, that is considered to be as a recoverable amount. Here fair value less cost to disposal not given, so value in use given, so that's why value in use can be considered as a recoverable amount. Here recoverable amount how much? 2,12,000. Already carrying amount as on 31st March 2003, how much amount? 2,88,000. So impairment loss. Here in financial reporting, every standard has some principle. This financial reporting is a principle oriented subject. Principle, everything is based on principle. So what is the principle for calculation of impairment loss? Higher of in excess of carrying amount in excess of recoverable amount. Here carrying amount 2,88,000, but recoverable amount 2,12,000. So how much is impairment loss? Impairment loss, we need to charge impairment loss 2,88,000 minus 2,12,000. How much? 76,000. Sorry, 2,88,000 for other assets. Goodwill, here goodwill given, goodwill also given, so 80,000. So total carrying amount of group, total carrying amount of cash generating unit. How much? Total 2,88,000 plus 80,000, 3,68,000. But 2,12,000 whatever given in question, 2,12,000 is related to group total cash generating unit. So we need to compare impairment loss for total. So how much? 3,68,000 minus 2,12,000. How much amount? 1,56,000. This is the impairment loss. This is impairment loss. On 31st March 2003, what is the carrying amount of goodwill? 80,000. What is the carrying amount of other assets? 3 lakh, 2 lakh 88,000. 2 lakh 88,000. So this impairment loss is related to total cash generating unit. But now we need to separate 1,56,000 impairment loss to different assets. In cash generating unit, goodwill is there. First we give the first prior to this impairment loss charged, impairment loss allocated to goodwill. Goodwill, how much is there? 80,000. So first of all, this 1,56,000 impairment loss related to 80,000 goodwill, remaining 76,000 other assets. So now carrying amount of goodwill nil, other assets 2,12,000. This up to 31st March 2000, up to 31st March 2003. Next, next 31st March 2005, government reinstates license. Again, license is not license, government reinstates license. So now you can do the business. This is the positive indicator. So whatever created impairment loss previously now need to be reversed. So we know what is one critical point: no no reversal of impairment loss to goodwill. For other assets, reversal of impairment loss is possible, but extent of the increased carrying extent of, that is the increased carrying amount after reversal of impairment loss not exceed the carrying amount would have been determined at no impairment loss in prior years. That is the principle, that is the one typical point. Okay, now on 31st March 2005, okay, carrying amount as on 31st March 2003, 2,12,000. Now 20 years, the life of Shorten Limited 20 years, already 2 years completed, remaining 18 years is there. For 2,12,000, 18 years, so every year we need to charge depreciation 11,377. So total 23,355, 23,355 for 2 years. So 12,12,000 minus 23,355, 1,88,445. Carrying amount as on 31st March 2005. 31st March 2005, 1,88,440. For rounding period, we need to round off 1,000. So 1,88,000. Carrying amount as on 31st March 2005, 1,88,000. So reversal of impairment loss. Suppose if had no impairment loss incurred in previous years, then what is the amount is there? 3,20,000. On 1st April 2001, 3,20,000. Depreciation for 20 years. So 4 years we need to charge 3,20,000 for by 20. Every year 16,000. So 4 years 64,000. 3,20,000 minus 64,000. 2,50,000. 2,56,000. 2,56,000. 2,56,000. So if no impairment loss are done, what is the amount? What is the amount is there? 2,50,000, 56,000 on 31st March 2005. 2005. So what is the difference amount between 2,56,000 and 1,88,000? 68,000. 68,000. 68,000 you can reverse impairment loss. Before we did impairment loss 76,000 for other assets, 80,000 for goodwill. Impairment loss done. But now we need to reverse impairment loss extent of 68,000. 68,000. Now what is the carrying amount as on 31st March 2005? 2,56,000. So 4 years completed. Remaining the life 16 years is there. So 2,56,000. Next prospectively, what is the amount of depreciation need to be charged? 16,000. Every year 16,000 need to be charged. And one more thing, here on 31st March 2005 the value in use given and fair value less to cost to disposal is also given. So recoverable amount, based on what we know, the critical point, the principle for determining of recoverable amount, higher of. So 3,04,000, actually 3,04,000, that is the recoverable amount. But as a principle we know, reversal of impairment loss not exceed at carrying amount at no impairment loss in prior years. So that's why we consider 2,56,000 as a carrying amount, and prospectively 16,000 need to be charged depreciation. Okay, this is the solution for regarding in India's 36 impairment loss. Okay. Next standard, India's 23 borrowing cost. Okay, the problem is ABC Limited has taken a loan of $20,000 on 1st April 2001 for constructing a plant at an interest rate of 5% per annum payable on annual basis. On 1st April 2001, the exchange rate between the US dollar and rupees was 45 rupees per US dollar. The exchange rate on the reporting date 31st March 2002. ABC Limited taken the loan on 1st April 2001. Reporting date 31st March 2002. On reporting date the rate is 48 rupees per US dollar. Okay. Next, the corresponding amount could have been borrowed by ABC Limited from State Bank of India in local currency at an interest rate of 11% per annum as on 1st April 2001. Next, here asking compute the borrowing cost to be capitalized for the construction of plant by ABC Limited. We know in the standard borrowing cost and qualifying asset are the two pillars. So here what is the output here asked? How much amount of borrowing cost need to be capitalized by ABC Limited for constructing of a plant. This is the requirement from question. So for giving of this answer we need some information, some knowledge we have. What knowledge? That is suppose on 1st April 2001 $20,000. So how much amount he borrowed? When we convert this $20,000 in our Indian currency, 45 rupees. So 9 lakhs. Actually he borrowed 9 lakhs. 9 lakhs. Next, we know on reporting date monetary items, non-monetary items, monetary assets, non-monetary assets. Okay, monetary assets for which rate we need to determine on closing date. Okay, so this is the loan, this is the monetary item. So at the reporting date, we measured on closing date, closing reporting rate. So 48 rupees, 48 rupees into 20,000 US dollar. So 20,000 US dollar. How much? 9,60,000. So we borrowed at the rate of 5% from US company, US. So 9,60,000, 5%. So how much amount? 48,000. This is the interest. This interest need to be added to our loan liability. So this 48,000 need to be capitalized to loan liability. Okay. Next, for one typical point is known to us. What is the typical point? That is, in case exchange loss, difference of home currency and difference of interest on home currency and interest on foreign currency need to be adjusted as interest cost. Okay, here interest on home currency 9 lakhs. So suppose 9 lakhs we borrowed in our Indian. How much amount need to pay as interest? 9 lakhs into 11%. So 99,000. Actually we need to pay 98,000 in India, but this amount we borrowed from foreign. So how much amount we need to pay? 48,000. So difference 99,000 minus 48,000. How much? 51,000. What is exchange loss? Exchange loss at the 1st April 2001, 45 rupees. The dollar amount 45 rupees, but at the reporting date 48 rupees. So difference 3 rupees. So 20,000 US dollar into 3 rupees, 60,000. Total foreign exchange loss. How much amount? 60,000. So 60,000. So this exchange loss need to be separated. Up to exchange loss of 50, exchange loss to the extent of 51,000 need to be adjusted as interest cost, indirectly capitalized. Remaining 9,000 treated as a expenditure, finance cost, and charged to profit and loss account. Okay. Now total amount of borrowing cost need to be added. Borrowing cost 48,000 and 51,000. Total how much amount? 99,000. Here what is the requirement? What is the amount of borrowing cost by ABC Limited to construct a plant? That is, so this is the 99,000 as a solution answer. Okay, right. I'm going to next standard India's 38, intangible assets. Okay, the problem is X Pharmaceutical Limited seeks your opinion in respect of following accounting transactions. Okay, first transaction: acquired a 4-year license to manufacture a specialized drug at a cost of 1 crore at the start of the year. Production commenced immediately. So this is one of the sub question. So first of all, we need to answer this question. Acquired a 4-year license to manufacture a specialized drug at a cost of 1 crore at the start of the year. Production commenced immediately. So this license can be considered as an intangible asset or not. So while treating of this license as an intangible asset, what is the critical points? What is the critical or typical points? This is separable or not? This is separable. And what is the definition? First of all, what is the principle for making of asset as a intangible asset? No physical substance, non-monetary asset, identifiable future economic benefits. Future economic benefits arised from this asset. Control is also required to the company. Control means ability to restrict access of other persons. Okay, now so this license can be considered as a intangible asset. So the value intangible asset, so to be recognized at 1 crore. Next, also purchased another company at the start of the year. As part of that acquisition, X Pharmacy Limited acquired a brand with a fair value of 3 crores based on sales revenue. The life of brand is estimated at 15 years. Okay. X Pharmaceutical Limited company also purchased another company at the start of the year. As part of acquisition, X Pharmacy Limited acquired a brand with a fair value of 3 crores based on sales revenue. The life of brand is estimated as at 15 years. So now what is the treatment? Here, in case of business combination, acquirer, acquiree. Okay, any acquirer received any intangible asset, even though not recorded by acquiree in those books of accounts. When acquirer treated from this asset, benefits, future economic benefits will come, and based on his opinion, that asset can be considered as an intangible asset. Here brand, the fair of at the in business combination, we know at what at on which date fair value of assets considered. So at the date of acquisition, the value of assets acquired by acquirer need to be valued at fair values only. So here brand is acquired at a fair value of 3 crores. So need to be recognized at 3 crores as intangible asset. So this is here 15 years given. So this is definite life. So definite life of this brand. So need to be amortized for 15 years. Say every year how much to be amortized? 3 crores. Okay, for 15 years. So 20 lakhs every year, 20 lakhs to be amortized. Okay, this next, spend 1 crore as an advertising campaign during first 6 months. Subsequent sales have shown a significant improvement, and it is expected this will continue for 3 years. We know the one typical point, deferment of the standard Ind AS 38 prohibited to defer the advertisement expenditure for future years. Okay, where as and when incurred advertisement expenditure in that year only, you need to be charged as a expenditure to profit and loss account. That advertisement expenditure cannot be considered as a intangible asset. Okay, that based on that point, now we concluded this 1 crore need to be charged as a expenditure. Okay, next, it has commenced developing a new drug, that is drug A. The project cost would be 10 crores. The project cost would be 10 crores. Clinical trial proved successful, and such drug is expected to generate revenue over the next 5 years. Cost incurred till 31st March 2001. Suppose here at the start of the year, assume at the start of the year 1st April 2001. Okay, 1st April 2001. Here cost incurred till 31st March 2001 5 crores. Balance cost incurred during the financial year 2001-2002 total 5 crores. Okay. Now research and development expenditure. We know in regarding research and development expenditure. Research phase, development phase. In research phase, whatever you incurred expenditure regarding research, that expenditure need to be charged as a expenditure. Okay. In development phase, any expenditure. In development phase, any expenditure incurred, that need to be capitalized. Okay. That is the point we know. Okay. Now in development phase, advertisement expenditure is incurred, so that amount also you need to capitalize it. No, don't do that, because advertisement expenditure prohibited the standard. So that is not the criteria to treat that expenditure as a capitalized. Okay. Now, so here 10 crores can be considered as capitalized or need to be charged as expenditure. So here in development phase, the expenditure incurred 10 crores. So this 10 crores are recognized as an intangible asset. Okay. Next, fifth point, fifth subquestion. It has also commenced developing another drug, that is drug B. It has incurred 50 lakhs towards research expenses till 31st March 2002. Okay, we assumed 1st April 2001, that is a start of the year, 31st March 2002, that is the end of the accounting period. So till 31st March 2002, 50 lakhs, but that is in research phase. So this 50 lakhs need to be charged as expenditure. Don't consider as intangible asset. Okay. And also technical feasibility is not at established. Now we already give the answer for respective points, but here lastly asked the question, how the above transactions will be accounted for the books of account of X Pharmaceutical Limited. Okay. Next I am going to another standard, Ind AS 40. Ind AS 40, that is investment property. Okay. The problem is, in financial year 2001-2002, X Limited incurred the following expenditure in acquiring property consisting of 6 identical houses, each with separate legal title, including the land on which it is built. Okay. The expenditure incurred on various dates is given below. On 1st April 2001, here given the financial year 2001-2002. So 1st April 2001 till 31st March 2002. That is the financial year that can be also called as accounting year right now. Okay. On 1st April 2001, purchase cost of property. Property consists of 6 identical houses. Okay. For total 6 identical houses, the amount of 1 crore 80 lakhs. Okay. On 1st April 2001, non-refundable transfer taxes 20 lakhs, but it is not included in the purchase cost. Here specifically clearly given, this 20 lakhs not included in cost of purchase cost of property, 1 crore 80 lakhs. So next, on 2nd April, legal cost related to property acquisition 5 lakhs. Legal cost incurred how much? 5 lakhs. On 6th April 2001, advertisement campaign to attract tenants 3 lakhs. Okay. On 8th April 2001, opening ceremony function for starting business 1,50,000. Throughout 2001-2002, incurred 1 lakh towards day-to-day repair, maintenance, and other advertisement expenses. Other administrative expenses. X Limited uses one of the 6 houses for office and administration of its few stops. The other 5 houses are rented to various independent third parties. Here asking, what is the question here asked? How X Limited will account for all the above mentioned expenses in the books of account. In the books of account. This is the question. Investment property. What is the principle regarding investment property? The property for that is any capital appreciation are given for any rental purposes. Here total 6 houses consists of 6 houses, one property acquired by X Limited. In those 6 houses, one house is used for office purpose, another 5 houses is given to the rent to tenants. So total, first of all, here what is the question asked? How will you account above issue? This is one of the issue. This is one issue. So how you treat this issue and how will you account at the end of the reporting period? Okay. First, total 1 crore 80 lakhs X Limited incurred for purchasing a property. Extra incurred taxes, that is non-refundable taxes. So these taxes also need to be added. That is need to be capitalized, because in case refundable taxes don't add up to cost of property, but it is a non-refundable taxes, so that's why we need to add up. So 20 lakhs. Another one is legal cost. So this is legal cost. This is directly attributable to property. This expenditure related to acquiring a property. So any directly attributable expenditures need to be added to the property. So legal cost also need to be added, 5 lakhs. So total how much amount? 205 lakhs. That is 2 crores 5 lakhs. 205 lakhs. Another on 2nd April 2001. Okay. On 6th April, advertisement expenses. Already we know any advertisement expenditure. Advertisement expenditure need to be charged as a expenditure as and when incurred. So don't capitalize, don't deferred. So this is treated as a expenditure. Okay, don't add up to property. Another one is opening ceremony. This is opening ceremony. This is excluded in India's 38. Some expenditures given. These are all excluded. So opening ceremony cost, that is a startup cost, that is excluded from to add up to property in India's 38. So this expenditure need not to be considered as a capitalized cost. So this expenditure also need to be charged as a expenditure. Another one is 1 lakh, that is towards day-to-day repair expenditure. So that is maintenance expenditure, that not to be considered as a capitalized cost. So total how much amount? That is 205 lakhs. This is the property cost, total property cost. This 205 lakhs. Okay, this is related to total property, but in that property 6 identical houses contain. One house is used to office purpose, so that need to be considered as a owner occupied property. That is India's 16 deals. Owner occupied property, that is India's 16 deals. So we need to separate 205 lakhs. We need to separate 205 lakhs to owner occupied property and investment property. So 205 lakhs into 5 by 6, that is 170 lakhs 83,333. This is investment property. Remaining 34 lakhs 16,667. This is cost of owner occupied property. So in our balance sheet, under the assets, investment property, how much amount? 170 lakhs 83,333. Owner occupied property, that is under PPE, 34 lakhs 16,667. That is in profit and loss account, 3 lakhs that advertisement expenditure, and opening ceremony 1,50,000, and 1 lakh, that is repair and maintenance expense. So 5,50,000. This is charged to profit and loss account. Okay. Here asking how Excel Limited will account for the above mentioned expenses in the books of accounts. We given solution respective to each expenditure. Okay. Next I am going to another standard, that is India's 105 non-current assets held for sale and discontinued operations. Okay, the problem is here, on 1st June 2001, entity X plans to sell a group of assets and liabilities which is classified as a disposal group. On 31st July 2001, the board of directors approves and becomes committed to the plan to sell the manufacturing unit by entering into a firm purchase commitment with entity Y. However, since the manufacturing unit is regulated, the approval from the regulator is needed for sale. The approval from the regulator is customary and highly probable to be received by 30th November 2001. And the sale is expected to be completed by 31st March 2002. Okay. Entity X follows December year end. Here accounting year January to December. That is calendar year. The assets and liabilities attributable to this manufacturing unit are as under carrying value as on 31st December 2000, because here given 31st December 2001. 31st December 2001, that is year ending. 31st December 2001, that is year ending. So opening date 1st January 2001. Okay. Here carrying value as on 31st December 2000. So opening balance, that is closing balance on 31st December 2000. That is opening balance as on 1st January 2001. Another one, carrying value as on 31st July 2001, given goodwill, plant and machinery, building, debtors, inventory, creditors, loans. Those are all carrying values given here. Next, the fair value of manufacturing unit as on 31st December 2000 is 2000, and as on 31st July 2001 is 1850. The cost to sell is 100 rupees on both these dates. The disposal group not sold at the period end, that is 31st December 2001. The fair value as on 31st December 2001 is lower than the carrying value of the disposal group as on that date. Here required, here asking sub-questions, 3 sub-questions here asked. We know for some problems given, particularly given what is the requirement need. but in some questions no requirement is given, but we impliedly give the answer based on standard. Okay, here particularly given, so that's why we need to give based on sub question. Okay, now first assess whether the manufacturing unit can be classified as held for sale and reasons these per. If yes, then on in which date. Next, second, the measurement of the manufacturing unit as on the date of classification has held for sale. You are asking second measurement. First, whether it is can be classified as a held for sale or not. If yes, then in which date. First question you are asked. Second question, what is the measurement? Third, at the end of the year, what is the measurement date? What is the measurement of manufacturing unit? Here three questions. Third sub question, measurement of the manufacturing unit as at the end of the year. This is the question. Okay, first based on requirement, we need to go. First, in Ind AS 105, suppose one asset can be classified as a held for sale. Some requirement satisfied. When some requirement is satisfied, then definitely then that asset need to be classified as a held for sale. Maybe asset, non-current assets or disposal group, whatever may be. Now here not given individual assets point of view. Here given disposal group. On 31st July 2001, Board of Directors approves and commitment also done, highly probable. Under Ind AS 105, two conditions. First condition, immediate for sale, and that another one is highly probable. And for identifying of highly probable, under highly probable, directors, board of directors committed to perform sale, and that sale is completed within year, that is mandatory. Some circumstances not possible to sell within a year, because any sufficient evidence is there. If sufficient evidence is there, or else behind control of management, then that situations not applicable of 1 year. Okay, next, on 31st July, the conditions are satisfied. It is immediately held for sale and highly probable, and also expected to sell within 1 year. So that's why it is eligible for classify as non-current assets held for sale under Ind AS 105. So for on which amount? That is the question. On which amount? Okay. The principle. What is the principle? What is the principle in Ind AS 105? Carrying amount, lower of carrying amount, or fair value less cost to disposal. That is the principle in Ind AS 105 for measuring of non-current assets held for sale. So here carrying amount on 31st July 2001. On 31st July 2001, carrying amount 2600. Fair value less cost to disposal, fair value 1850, cost to disposal 100 rupees, total 1750. So which one is lower? 1750. This is the This is the mention, this is a carrying amount. So it need to be recorded in balance sheet non-current assets held for sale 1750 for okay. Next after that no depreciation charged. That is one of the typical point. Okay, no depreciation. Next difference amount 2600, actually the carrying amount 2600, but you measured 1750, so difference amount 850. This is impairment loss. So this impairment loss we need to be separated. This is one disposal group. Okay, in those disposal group, goodwill first priority need to be give to goodwill. So carrying value as an 31st July 2001 500. So 850 is in impairment loss is related in 850 need to be separated. So 500 related to goodwill, another 350 is there. So 350 here in disposal group lot of assets is there, but Ind AS 104 only some assets only covered in Ind AS 104, that is non-current assets. Okay, those non-current assets covered in Ind AS 104 based on pro rata base of carrying values, this impairment loss allocated. So this is the remaining impairment loss, how much? 350. So here plant and machinery, that is one of the non-current asset. Building, that is also another non-current asset, but here given debtors, inventory, creditors, loans, those are all non-current assets. So this impairment loss 350 is related to only plant and machinery and building. So now we need to allocate this 350 impairment loss on pro rata base of carrying value of respective non-current asset. So what is the carrying value of non-current asset as on 31st July? 900. Plant and machinery, building 1850. So 900 plus 1850, total 2750. So 350 into 900 by 2750. So 350 into 900 by 2750. So 114 point, the calculator showing here 114.5454. So our simple calculation need to take 2 decimal points, or else take 140 enough, 140. Next building 1850 by 2700, or else 350 minus 140, so 236. 236 impairment loss is related to building. So we need to separate in this way. Next the measurement of here asking third sub question. At the end of the year also, what is the measurement of manufacturing unit? Same, at the end of the year also we determined in this way, but here here take carrying value as on 31st July 2001, because on that date only we consider the asset classified as non-current assets held for sale. So from that date we need to take for comparison on and at the end of the year. At the end of the year we take fair value less cost of disposal and compare with the carrying amount. Any impairment loss is there, then need to be charged as a profit and loss account. Here goodwill already wipe off, so remaining assets is there. So at the end of the year any impairment loss is there, same on pro rata of carrying value basis we separated the impairment loss. Okay, this is the Ind AS 105. Next I am going to another standard, Ind AS 16, property, plant and equipment. Here the problem is an entity has a nuclear power plant and a related decommissioning liability. We know decommissioning nothing but wipe off, separate, or else leave. Okay, the nuclear power plant started operating on 1st April 2001. The plant has a useful life of 40 years. Its initial cost was 1,20,000, which included an amount for decommissioning cost of 10,000, which represented 70,400 in estimated cash flows payable in 40 years, discounted at a risk adjusted rate of 5%. The entity's financial year ends on 31st March. Here, not the calendar year, here accounting year, April to March. On March 2011, because nuclear power plant started 1st April 2001, but the data is given on March 2011. Okay, 10 years is completed. The net present value of decommissioning liability has decreased by 8,000. On 31st March 2011, decommissioning liability reduced by 8,000. The discount rate has not changed. Discount rate here given, discount rate how much, risk adjusted rate of percent, 5% given. That is the rate. That is not no change in discount. How the entity will account for the above changes in decommissioning liability in the year 2011 if it adopts cost model? Here asking the question. What is the question? Suppose company adopts cost model, what will change in decommissioning liability at the end of the year 2011? Okay, now we know in Ind AS 16 property, plant and equipment, decommissioning cost also at the time of installation, any decommissioning provision is there, add up to cost. Next, prospectively we charged depreciation. So at the end of its initial way, total initial cost 1,20,000. In those 1,20,000, 10,000 included as decommissioning cost. The life of a nuclear plant 40 years, so 10 years completed. Actually on cost model 1,20,000. Every year how much amount as depreciation charged? 40 years. So every year 3,000. Every year 3,000 charged as a depreciation. So in that 3,000, 3,000 depreciation related to 10,000 also included here. Okay. Actually, at the end of 40 years, we decommission the everything in nuclear plant related. So how much amount is there at the end of 40 years? 70,400. Presently 10,000, but at the end of 40 years 70,400. How will come? Because that is a future value. Suppose 10,000 is a present value, so 5%. So for 40 years 5% discounting rate. Okay, 5 by 100 to 1 by 1.05. so 5 by presently now first year 1 rupee, so next year 1.05, or next further year 1.10, same for third year 1.10, second year 1.05, third year 1.10, fourth year 5th year, 6th year, 7th year, 8th, 9, 10. 10th year, the rupee value at the 10th year 1.55, because here we apply time value of money, compounding rate of interest. So at the end of the 10 year, the rupee value become at the end of 10th year 1.55. Okay, sorry, 1.05. Okay, at the end of the 10th year, the rupee value 1.62889. So here at the end of 10 years completed. So at the on March 2011, on March 2011, how much amount of decommissioning cost? 10,000 into 1.62889, 16,288. So round of 16,300. Actually decommissioning liability 16,300, but at the end of March 2011, decommissioning liability decreased by 8,000. So previously asset account provision of decommissioning liability we created. Now we need to reduce 8,000. So now reverse entry, provision for liability 8,000 to asset account 8,000. So 8,000. Now 8,300 is the decommissioning liability at the end of March 2011. Further year, next year, how much finance cost need to be charged on 8,300? 5%, 415. This is the finance cost, 415. Okay. Here asking how the entity will account for the above changes in decommissioning liability in the year. So decommissioning liability changes in the year 2011. Okay. This is the India's 16. Next standard, I am going to next standard India's 2 valuation of inventory. Okay. Here the problem, Sun Limited has fabricated special equipment, that is solar power panel, during 2001-2002 as per drawing and design supplied by the customer, because they on customer basis Sun Limited has fabricated the solar power panel. However, due to a liquidity crunch, the customer has requested the company for postponement in delivery schedule and requested the company to withhold the delivery of finished goods products and discontinue the production of balance items. Okay, due to liquidity crunch, customer requested the company, don't do production, please hold finished goods with you. Okay. As a result of the above, the details of the customer balance and goods held by the company as work in progress and finished goods as on 31st March 2003 are as follows. Okay, on that date, whenever customer informed, so what are the how much of amount incurred related to that customer order. Solar power panel work in progress, how much? 85 lakhs. Solar power panel finished goods 55 lakhs. Sundry debtors already sold, how much amount? 65 lakhs. The petition for winding up against the customer has been filed during 2002-2003 by Sun Limited. Sun Limited filed the petition against customer on 2002-2003. One petition case is running on 2002-2003 year. Comment with explanation on provision to be made of 205 lakh included in sundry debtors. Sundry debtors, finished goods and work in progress in the financial statement of 2002-2003 here asking. Okay. Solar power panel, how much amount incurred by Sun Limited? 85 lakhs. Solar power panel, finished goods, how much? 55 lakhs. Next, sundry debtor, solar power panel, 65 lakhs. This is the issue. This is two issues is there. Work is done, but customer postponed. So at the end of the reporting period, for which amount we need to value, we need to recognize as inventory. This is the issue. But this amount only specific to the customer. But yeah, NRV. What is the principle laid down in India's to the value of inventory should be valued at cost or NRV, whichever is lower, for lower of whichever is lower. So net realizable value is not available because this is specific to the customer. Okay. Here NRV is not available. So cost here we assume to be cost is a lower amount. Cost is a lower amount because net realizable value is not available. So that's why amount 85 lakhs plus 55 lakhs, total 140 lakhs. Total 140 lakhs. So we should recognize inventory as 140 lakhs. Okay. Another case, sundry debtor 65 lakhs. Already company filed a petition against debtor. This amount is not recoverable. So that's why we need to provide the provision for extent of 65 lakhs. Okay. This is the issue. Okay. This is the answer for this issue. Next, I am going to another standard, that is India's 41, agriculture. The problem is, has at 31st March 2001, a plantation consists of 100 pinus radiata trees that were planted 10 years earlier. The tree takes 30 years to mature. The tree takes 30 years to mature. Already 10 years completed. So remaining how many years to mature? 20 years is there. Okay. And will ultimately be processed into building material for houses or furniture. The enterprise weighted average cost of capital is 6% per annum. Only mature trees have established fair values by reference to a quoted price in an active market. Okay. The fair value inclusive of current transport cost to get 100 lakhs to market. For a mature tree of same grade as in the plantation, he is as at 31st March 2001 active market. What is the quoted market price for mature tree? 171 rupees. Here given on 34 as at 31st March 2001 quoted market price for tree 171 rupees. Same as at 31st March 2002, 165 rupees. Assume that there would be there would be immaterial cash flows between now and point of harvest. Okay, now and point of harvest. The present value factor of 1 rupee at the rate of 6% for 19th year, here given 0.331. 20th year equal to 0.312. State the value of such plantation as on 31st March 2001 and 31st March 2002, and the gain or loss to be recognized as per Ind AS. Here asking what is the requirement. Here asked value of such plantation as on 31st March 2001 and as 31st March 2002, and what is the gain or loss. Okay. Okay, now here question, remaining 20 years there to mature this tree, finest tree. How many finest trees? Trees total 100 trees. As on 31st March 2001, the quoted market price 171 rupees. As on 31st March 2002, 165. In Ind AS 41 agriculture, the principle, the critical, suppose agriculture produce at the time of harvest. At the time of harvest, we recognized that agriculture produce for fair value. For fair value less cost to disposal. The principle is fair value less cost to disposal. That is agriculture produce. Same here. As on 31st March 2001, suppose 31st March 2001, that is a maturity year. If maturity here, then how much we recognize? Here 100 finest plants. So on 31st March 2001, that is a matured period. 100 into 171. So total 17,100. Suppose we recognize 17,100 on 31st March 2001. On 31st March 2002, 165 for matured plants, 100 into 165. So 16,500. We are asking state value of such plantation as on 31st March 2001. In 31st March 2001, the value 17,100. On 31st March 2002, 16,500. Okay. Here another question asked. What is the gain or loss recognized as per Ind AS? Okay. Suppose 19th year, the present value factor of 1 rupee at 6% per 19th year 0.331 here given. 20th year 0.312. Okay. As on 31st March 2001, 17,100. So 31st March 2001, that is 2001 accounting year. So it takes remaining 20 years. So 2001, that is the first year. So up to 20 at the end of 20th year. So 19th year is the maturity period. 19th year is the maturity period for 2001. For 2002, 20th year, because the accounting period to 2002, 2001, 2002. So we need to count to 2002 onwards. 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. So the maturity period 20th year. So you given 20th year, the rupee value, the present value of rupee 0.312. So for 20 years. So we need to apply that amount to 16,500. Don't for 19th year. So the here most of the cases this is the important point from this question. So 17,100. At the end of 19th year, what is the present value of rupee? 0.331. So we need to apply 0.331 for 17,100 into 0.331. So how much? 5,000. Sorry. Okay. 19th year given 0.331 the present value factor. 20th year 0.312. On 31st March 2001, how much amount? 17,100. So here 31st March 2001, next 31st March 2002. So 31st March 2001. So 20th year present value factor applied. So 17,100 into 28th year factor 0.312. How much amount? 5335.20 for 31st March 2001. For 31st March 2002, 19th year present value factor applied. So 19th year factor 0.331 into 16,500. So total 5461.5. So closing fair value. So 31st March 2002, that is a closing year, end of the year. 31st March 2001, that is opening. So closing 5461.5, opening 5335.20. So difference amount how much? 126.30. This is loss. So this loss will be charged to profit and loss account. Okay, right. Next, I am going to standard Ind AS 116, that is leases. Okay, here the problem is a retailer, that is a lessee, entered into 3-year lease of retail space beginning at 1st April 2017 with 3 annual lease payments of 2 lakhs due on 31st March 2018, 31st March 2019 and 2020. 3 years annual lease payment. How much? 2 lakhs every year. So date of commencement of lease 1st April 2017. Date of commencement of lease, date of initial lease, there is a difference too. The retailer initially applies Ind AS 116 for the first time in the annual period beginning at 1st April 2019. Okay, we know the standard Ind AS 101, first time adoption of Indian accounting standard. So there is some transitional provisions is there applied. So here also Ind AS 116, it is a newly applicable standard. This is applicable from 1st April 2019. So retailer lessee applied Ind AS 116 from 1st April 2019. So date of transition to Ind AS 116, this here Ind AS 1st April 2018, because we need to adjust opening balances. Next, the incremental borrowing rate at the date of initial application on that is 1st April 2019 is 10% per annum, and at the commencement of lease, on which date commencement of lease? 1st April 2017. So on that date 12% per annum incremental borrowing rate. Next, the right of use asset, ROU asset. The ROU asset is subject to straight line depreciation over the lease term. Here lease term how many years? Lease term 3 years, 3-year lease term. 1st April 2007 commencement. So 31st March 2020 lease term closed. So because lease term here only 3 years. Assume that no practical expedients are elected. No practical expedient. Practical expedient is nothing but the lease is not covered under Ind AS 17 and this lease not covered under Ind AS 116. So it is applied to to be applied all leases. The meaning to the practical expedient. Okay. The lessee did not incur any initial direct cost. There was no lease incentives, and there were no requirements for the lessee to dismantle and remove the underlying asset. So here no decommissioning, no restoration, everything is not there in lease perception. Next, what would be the, here asking, what would be the impact for the lessee using all the following transitional approaches, that is a full retrospective approach, next modified retrospective approach, alternative 1, alternative 2. Here asking what is the impact of lessee, what is the impact for the lessee below following approaches: full retrospective approach, modified retrospective approach, alternative 1, alternative 2. Okay. Now in full retrospective approach, simply we followed Ind AS 8, changes in accounting policies, accounting estimates and errors, that are standard. In case of change in accounting policy, we followed retrospective approach and we provide three balance sheets. But under any cumulative effect, we'll apply opening balance on the date of transition, adjusted opening balance, that is the impact to retained earnings. But in case modified retrospective approach, alternative 1, we did under Ind AS 116, but applied new rate. Here two rates is given, old rate to new rate. At the date of application of Ind AS 116, the rate is given here 10%, before 12%. So simply we treated 10% is a new rate, 12% is a old rate. So modified retrospective approach, alternative 1, we simply calculated right of use asset and lease liability at the year of 1st April 2018. Under full retrospective approach at the 1st April 2017, at the commencement of lease, but due to application of old rate 12%. But in modified retrospective approach, alternative 1, we take a new rate but calculated at the opening of at the opening of 1st April 2018. Next, alternative 2, modified retrospective approach, alternative 2. Here 1st April 2019, lease liability, we determined lease liability and right of use asset for remaining lease payments. So here no effect, simply here prospective approach we followed. Full retrospective approach followed. Modified retrospective approach, alternative 2, prospective approach. Alternative 1, any cumulative effect given to opening balance of retained earnings, adjusted to opening balance of retained earnings at the 1st April 2018. That is the concept in full retrospective and modified retrospective. Now we simply calculated under full retrospective approach. On 1st April 2007, lease liability. What is the lease liability? Here every year annual lease payment, how much? 31st March 2008, lease liability, lease payment how much? 2 lakhs. 31st March 2019, 2 lakhs. 31st March 2020, how much? 2 lakhs. So we take an old rate, that is 12%. Old rate 12%. So we discount 12%, 12 by 100. So 1 by 2. 0.892 here 0.8928, so 0.893, next 0.797, next 0.712. okay, now 2 lakhs to 0.893, 1,78,600 for first year present value of 2 lakhs. Next 2 lakhs into 0.797, 1,59,400. Next 2 lakhs into 0.712, amount 1,42,400. 1,78,600 plus 1,59,400 plus 1,42,400. Total amount 4,80,400. Total 4,80,400. This is the lease liability. Okay, lease liability can also be considered as the right of use asset. So right of use asset, how much amount we need to recognize at 4,80,400, and lease liability 4,80,400. So now we need to calculate every year, at the end of every year, what is the carrying amount of lease liability, what is the carrying amount of right of use asset. So suppose now on 31st March 2018, what is the carrying amount of lease liability? First 31st March 2018, the carrying amount of lease liability. So 4,80,400 on 1st April 2017. Here 17, yeah, on 1st April 2017, the amount lease liability 4,80,400. okay, now on 31st March 2018, we calculate the interest because lease liability increased due to the add up of interest. So 4,80,400, how much interest? 12%, so 57,648. so total amount, total lease liability, how much amount? 4,80,400 plus 57,648, 4,80,400. so total amount 5,38,048. okay, in that at the end of every year, 31st March 2018, 31st March 2019, 31st March 2020, at the end of every year, lessee paid lease payment. How much amount he paid? 2 lakhs. So 2 lakhs he paid. So remaining how much amount? So carrying amount of lease liability as in 31st March 2018, how much amount? 3,38,048. Next 31st March 2019. This is opening balance. This is carried at 1st April 2019. Sorry, at 1st April 2018, 3,38,048. At 1st April 2018, 3,38,048. Next, on 31st March 2019, 3,38,400. On 3,38,048, we need to add up interest. How much? 12%. So 40,565. So total balance, here decimal is there, 40,565.76. For our simple calculation, just a round of rupee, 40,566. 40,566. So 3,38,048, 40,566. Total amount 3,78,614. 3,78,614. Now on 31st March 2019, lessee paid how much? 2 lakhs paid lease payment. So remaining balance, remaining closing balance, how much? 1,78,614. okay, now 31st March 2020, on 1,78,614. Okay, here this is last payment, last annual lease payment. So how much amount he paid? 2 lakhs. So remaining for round up 2 lakhs. So almost 21,386, that is the interest amount. 21,386, that is the interest amount. Total 2 lakhs. He paid also 2 lakhs. So carrying amount of lease liability as on 31st March 2020 nil balance, because lessee paid every annual lease payment, so nil. Same as it is, we need to find out carrying amount of right of use asset at the end of every year. So on 1st April 2017, how much amount right of use asset? 4,80,400. On 31st March 2018. So because here lessee followed straight line method. So 4,80,400. Total lease term. Here the asset life is not given. So we consider 3 years. The life of asset 3 years. 4,80,400 by 3 years. So 1,60,133. Every year we need charge depreciation. So 4,80,400 minus 1,60,130. So carrying amount 1,60,133. So 4,80,400 minus 1,60,133. So 3,20,267. That is carrying amount of right of use asset as on 31st March 2018. Next 31st March 2019. 3,20,267 minus 1,60,133. So remaining balance 1,60,134. Okay. 31st March 2020. 31st March 2020. 1,60,134. Depreciation 31st March 2020. Depreciation how much? Same. 1,60,134. So carrying amount carrying amount as an carrying amount, value of carrying amount nil on 31st March 2020. Next, here net effect. Here date of transition. On 1st April 2018, lease carrying amount of lease liability how much? 1st April 2018. So 31st March 2018. 3,38,048. That is lease liability. Okay. On 1st April 2018. 1st April 2018 right of use asset 3,20,267. So difference amount 3,38,048 minus 3,20,267. 17,781. This is the loss. This is the loss. So this loss need to be adjusted with retained earnings as on 1st April 2018. This is the full retrospective approach. Next, modified retrospective approach under alternative 1. Same here, lease liability. But lease liability calculated under new rate. New rate is 10%. So now 31st March 2000. Okay, lease liability as on 1st April 2017. At the rate of new 10%. So lease liability on 31st March 2018. 2 lakhs. 10%, so 0.909, that is the present value factor. Next 2 lakhs into 0.909, how much? 1,81,800. On 31st March 2019, 2 lakhs 0.826, how much? 2 lakhs into 0.826, 1,65,200. Next 31st March 2020, 2 lakhs into 0.751, so 2 lakhs into 0.751, how much? 1,50,200, 1,65,200. Next 181,800, total 4,97,200. This is the lease liability, total lease liability. Same right of use asset also need to be recognized. So now carrying amount of lease liability at the end of every year, and also right of use asset at the end of every year. So 1st April 2017, lease liability, opening balance of lease liability 497,200. Okay, and 31st March 2018, lease liability 4,97,200. Interest, how much? 4,97,200 into 10%. New rate 49,720. So plus 497,200. How much? 5,46,920. So repayment 2 lakhs repayment. 2 lakhs repayment. So 3,46,920. 3,46,920. Next 31st March 2019, 3,46,920 into 10%, 34,692. Total amount 346,920. Total amount 381,612 minus 2 lakhs repayment. So 181,612. Next 31st March 2020, 181,612 into 10%, 18,161. 181,612 plus 18,161, that is interest. Total 1 lakh. Okay, here round figure, because this is last payment 2 lakhs, annual lease payment last 2 lakhs. So difference amount 2 lakhs minus 181,612, how much? 18,388 is the interest. So carrying amount as on 31st March 20, nil. Next, right of use asset 4,97,200. So for 3 years, every year 4,97,200, 1,65,733, 1,65,733 is the depreciation, every year depreciation. On 31st March 2018, the balance 1,65,333. This is the depreciation. So 497,200 minus 165,333. So closing balance 331,867. On 31st March 2019, minus 165,833. So 1,66,034 is the closing balance. Next 31st March 2020. So balance carrying amount after depreciation. Now here date of transition on at the commencement of lease, at the commencement at the application of Ind AS 160. So 1st April 2019, the carrying value of lease liability, how much? 1,81,612. Right of use asset 1,66,034. Difference amount 15,578. This is the loss. This loss need to be adjusted to retained earnings on 1st April 2019. So under a modified approach and alternative one, This is the treatment. So remaining interest payment, lease, annual lease payment, depreciation as usual. But only here cumulative effect affected with on 1st April 2019 retained earnings, but application of new rate. Under full retrospective approach on 1st April 2018, cumulative effect affected to retained earnings on 1st April 2018. Now under alternative 2, here simply we calculated prospective way. Only we applied Ind AS 116 on 1st April 2019. So only 1 year is remaining. Only 1 year is remaining. So 1 year lease liability on 1st April 2019. On 1st April 2019. Here lease liability. How much? 2 lakhs into. Here we applied new rate. Don't consider old rate, that is 12%. So 0.909. So 1,81,1800 is the lease liability. On 31st March 2020, we considered difference amount. Lease payment 2 lakhs. Annual lease payment we need to let's say need to pay 2 lakhs. So remaining amount how much? Interest 18,200. This is interest. Okay. Same lease liability 181,800. So right of use asset also 181,800. But depreciation total we calculated total. So carrying amount nil, 81,000, 181,800. So here no return earning affected. So this is the under modified alternative approach. Second, modified retrospective approach, alternative 2. Okay, this is the Ind AS 116. Okay, I hope so it is useful to you. Please subscribe my channel, like it, comment and share it. Please stay tuned on my channel. Thank you.